Hello, and welcome to Cube Puzzle Fun, a YouTube channel where I use plain English to help people to understand how it is that we solve these cube puzzles for fun. And this is the original, the 3x3 Rubik's Cube that was invented by the real and actual Mr. Rubik in the early 80s, late 70s. We're going to go through the 5 easy cube puzzle fun steps for solving a Rubik's Cube. There are 26 pieces on a Rubik's Cube, and the good news is that 6 of them are already solved for you. Those are called the centerpieces. There are 6 sides on the cube, and each side has its own centerpiece, and those pieces cannot come unsolved, so you don't even have to worry about solving them. You have to worry about filling in the 20 pieces that go around. And we break those 20 pieces down into 5 steps where you solve 4 in each step. 4 pieces per step. This is intended to be a demonstration and not a tutorial, because here on Cube Puzzle Fun we have plenty of tutorials that will slow it down and go into full detail on how to solve these things. But here is a demonstration of what the 5 steps look like, and you can find links in the description to the full tutorials. For step 1, getting the first 4 pieces, I'm going to identify which color I want to go for first. I'm going to go for green because mostly every tutorial tells you have to start with white, and I do not do what people tell me. So, yes, green, and here are 4 edges that need to be green. So we need to find 4 edge pieces that have green on them and get them up to the places around this green center. This one's orange and not red, so I'm going to slide it around until it's over the orange center, because that is also a part of step 1, is getting them in the right place. These 2 are conveniently already located over their centers, so I just have to move them up, this yellow and this white. That was nice and easy. And red is also underneath its center, so all I have to do is rotate that around the red center until it comes up to the top. And I have my green X already solved, and that's the first step. We're gonna breeze through the first few steps because the later steps take a little bit longer, so pardon me if I go a little bit too fast in the beginning here. We have 3 corners. You can tell a corner from an edge because corners have 3 pieces, 3 sides to them, 3 different colors on a piece, and edges have 2 different colors on a piece. Also, corners are on the corner, and edges are sort of bunched in between the corners. So here is a green, and it has white and red on it. Now, this is where I start to like to talk about the concept of elevators. Each corner has 2 potential elevators. It has a right side elevator and a left side elevator that can come down to this bottom ring around and pick up any pieces that are down here. And so I like to try to get these green edges down to the bottom ring, and depending on whether they need a left side elevator or a right side elevator, pick them up with the appropriate one. This one is green, red, and white. So here is white and here is red, so it needs to come up to this corner, and it is on the left side of the cube, so I need this left side elevator. So I'm going to move this green passenger out of the way of the elevator. The elevator comes down, picks up that passenger, brings it up right to the right spot with the red, white, and green. And we're just going to repeat that for each passenger. Get them down to this bottom row, figure out what colors are on them, red and yellow in this case, and then bring them over to the red and yellow elevator and pick them up. Here is yellow, orange, green. That is over here. So same thing again, pick them up with the elevator. And the last one is got a little bit of a situation because it's already up where it goes. It just needs to be twisted around, so we have to bring it down to where we can pick it up, bring it down to this bottom row. Again, if any of this is going too fast for you, there are long, in-depth tutorials on step 1 and step 2 here on this channel. But this is what it should look like when you finish with step 2. You have a whole side solved, green in this case, and you have a ring around the green where everything up on the top row matches its center. Now we're going to worry about this middle row, because that's step 3, is we place 4 more edges. And to do that, I like to flip the cube over so that green is now on the bottom, and elevators are now going to be coming up rather than going down since we flipped the cube over. And for step 3, we're just going to look for any edge piece that does not have blue in it. Blue is the center of the opposite side. We solved green, and opposite green is blue. Always blue. You can't really separate green center from being opposite the blue center. So we're looking for edges that do not have blue in it. This has blue, this does not, and this does not. So any of these 3 pieces we can place down in here, and we're going to do that by this is white and orange, so we'll move it over the white center. And then since orange is the other color on it, we need to get it into here with white and orange. So this is the step, I call it the double elevator. You swing this away from where it's going and bring the elevator up, and then bring this back over the center. And that took this green piece that was up here and solved in the corner and brought it back down to the bottom, but it also lined up orange and orange, white and white. It lined up this edge so that when we put this green piece back up here, this is going to slide into here where we want it. Now, how do you fix this? This was all green and it was all fixed, but this green is now down here. Well, what you would think to do is the same elevator trick where you move this green off to wait for the elevator comes down, move them back on along with the passenger behind them. Got 2 passengers now, and when you bring this back up, that edge is solved and right where it needs to go. This is a little bit complicated and takes some getting used to, mostly because you keep flipping the cube over but let's do it again a couple times, and we'll get a little more used to it. Here is red and white. So we bring that over the white center. Since the other color is red, we're going for placing it into this edge right here. So the red and white edge goes away from the red side. The elevator comes up. This goes back to the middle, and the elevator goes back down. We flip the cube over and see that this green is moved down to the bottom ring, and it is on the right side of the cube. So we are going to want to swing it over to the left to wait for the elevator. And when the elevator comes down, not just this green passenger, but also the red and white behind, both get put right into place, nice and neat. And so we have 2 out of the 4 edges placed, and I'm going to speed up the tape and just do the other 2. Okay, now that is a completed step 3 where we have 2 layers of cube solved. Now, the more cube that you get solved, the more complicated the sequence of moves that you have to do in order to move pieces around without unsolving what you've already solved. That's unfortunate, but that's just the case. So for step 4, we are trying to place these 4 edges around the blue center up top and get them over their correct steps. There are 2 tools that you need for this. One tool is the tool that you need to flip the blue edges so that they're facing upwards. That tool involves swinging the front face clockwise, the top face clockwise, and then the side face clockwise. And then you just undo those 3 moves that you did, but you have to change the order a little bit, because if you didn't change the order a little bit, you would just exactly undo. I mean, there would be no point to doing those 3 things. So the 3 things we did were front face, top face, side face. And now when we back them out, we do top face first, then side face, then front face. That will flip 2 of your edge pieces and leave 2 the way they were. And so now just so happens we have the whole blue X, and we have two adjacent edges that are over their correct centers, and we have two adjacent edges that are not over their correct centers. So we just need the second tool of step 4, which is swapping. And it will swap two adjacent edges. I call it the scenic route, and it is basically for that purpose. It just swaps out two edges, and then you will be able to place them all over the correct center. There's a lot more information available on both of those tools that you use for step 4 in a longer tutorial. And now that brings us to step 5. Step 5 is where we place the last 4 corners, and there are a couple tools that you need for that. One tool is called corner juggling. Corner juggling will leave one corner alone, and it will juggle the other 3 corners. We don't have any of these corners in the right place, so I am just going to just start anywhere and corner juggle, which is you pick up one side elevator and bring that passenger off. You pick up the other side elevator, bring that passenger off, which brings this one back on. You put that elevator down, bring this passenger back on, put that elevator back down, and you you put these edge pieces that we had solved in step 4 back where they go. That fixed one of our corners. We now have one of our corners in the right place, and just coincidentally we have it in the right orientation as well. So I'm going to try that again in corner juggle to see if that will help us get any of these other 3, or actually it would. Since we have one in the protected spot, I happen to know that it will either solve all 3 or none, and it solved none, so we're going to corner juggle one more time, and I believe that is going to whoa. So yeah, coincidentally, very seldom does this happen, but we solved the whole cube just by corner juggling. So we only ended up needing one of the 2 tools that you use to solve step 5. That was kind of convenient. But yeah, if you'd like to learn more, the other tool of step 5, or any more about any of these tools, how to solve 3x3 Rubik's Cube, there's plenty of tutorials on Cube Puzzle Fun here. I have been your host. My rap name is Alex. Please do subscribe if you are interested in all kinds of fun things relating to these twisty puzzles, and peace.